And we are live. Good evening, hello, and welcome to another episode of Imitating. This is number 11. It's Largo and myself tonight. We wish our would-be guest, Lee Richard, a speedy recovery. I know he's not been well recently, and he's not able to make it onto the show. So, Lee, we do wish you all the best. Get well soon, mate, and we will see you sometime. Got a couple of episodes of the series left, and hopefully you'll be on one of them. But if not, there's always a series 2 coming up. So, Largo, you're it's just me and Dee tonight, but I'm sure we'll make a good show of it. I think of you.
Yeah, good, mate. Just got caught in the rain here in Sevilla, and as I was walking home with my shopping, then the metro was late, and then which really helped, and then there was a mad dash to get home to get my washing in because it was raining. So I've had a tin of mackerel for tea, but here we are, ready to go.
Right, okay, mackerel. Yeah, I've had some fish as well. Actually,
it's a superfood, mackerel. It's very filling and pure protein, basically. So
protein and omega-3 and not a lot else, basically.
Yeah, but there's no downside to eating mackerel. It's a great thing.
Right, mackerel it is. Right, there you go. There's Largo, head of the mackerel sales board or whatever it is.
Yeah, Scottish mackerel, actually.
Scottish mackerel, right? They do Scottish mackerel in Spain. Fancy that?
Yeah.
And any fun and games, adventures this week? Any interesting things happen besides the mackerel thing?
No, but I heard there is a grime. I heard something on Spanish radio. Apparently, there's a grime track from the UK that that they're trying to ban.
Is there?
Yeah.
I'm not a big one for banning things, but I'd like to see all grime banned, really.
I am neither here nor there on grime. It's not my tastes in music, be it sort of Black Sabbath, Iron Maiden, Sisters of Mercy, that kind of thing.
Here we go. I think there's one called Lethal Bizzle Pow, Chaos on the Dance Floor.
Yeah, that could be it. Yeah.
Right, cause chaos on the dance floor. What are the people throwing strange shapes to it or what? I'm not a grime guy. I'm sure you can see. I'm sure you can work that out. Let's look.
No me. But
no.
I was back in the 90s. I did enjoy hip hop. I was a big fan of Public Enemy, Body Count, NWA.
All right. Okay. No. Public Enemy, NWA. Oh, there you go. You back in? Good.
Yeah, I'm back.
Yes. I mean, I remember seeing.
I did enjoy my hip hop in the 90s. I can't deny that.
No, but I was. Look, I can point to the odd individual. I was joking about banning anything, as you know. I remember at a train station years ago when somebody first mentioned the word grime to me. I was like, is that rap you're listening to? He said, no, it's grime. Don't call it rap. I was like, okay. Okay.
It's actually quite popular with the young people in Spain. Grime. It's actually something. I mean, it's an example. You might not like grime, but it is an example of the UK punching above its weight culturally.
Right. Yeah. Right.
The arts really are the UK's biggest export.
Right. Yeah. Well, certain terms. Who's just contacted me? Okay. Yeah, do you know what? We can't get. We'll have to start paying our guests. We can't get them to come on for free anymore. Right. Grime.
We'll have to organise something because I'm back at Christmas, so we'll have to organise a meetup or an invite where you and me buy beers for all the guests that have been kind.
There's a fantastic people on. I'm going to get a couple of them on for a Christmas special. That works for you. Maybe 2 or 3 on for a Christmas special.
I might be in the UK then. I mean, I'm going to be in the UK on the 24th of December. So right. Christmas. Hopefully, I'll be able to attend a North End match then.
Yeah, well, that'd be good. We might even win. We've been winning the odd match recently. I tell you what, I had some good.
I checked my phone. I went out to the gym and I checked my phone and they were 2-0 up. And then I didn't check it again until I got home and it was like 2-2. I was like, oh no, it's going to finish 3-2. Thank God it did. But look, surprisingly, it didn't. But I was sort of had an eye on that, and I was watching on the TV Barca absolutely pumping Bayern Munich.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, there you go. We're gonna talk about a bit of European football in a minute, aren't we? Because there was a couple of big results last night. Yeah, a couple of big results last night. A bit of a shock. You put a good hypothetical to me earlier. Another one. I want to thank you for telling me something else in the week, or pointing something else to me in the week, which was this undercover in the far right documentary featuring the good people at Hope Not Hate, which I've got a few observations about.
I watched it.
Yeah.
And I'm always up for anything undercover because I remember in the 90s at school, somebody lent me a video of a film called ID. And I was absolutely blown away by it at the time. I thought it was a really good film. It was exciting. I thought, okay, well, that kind of set the standards for being undercover is. Now, if you hold...
Well, just at the pause button for a second for the uninitiated, because I've watched it. I've got it on DVD at home. So, ID is a film based on a real police operation. I think in the late 1980s, but it was released.
It is, yes. I've actually read the book by the police officer that did it.
Right. Yeah, I think it was a guy called James Bannon, wasn't it?
Yes. Yeah. Very brilliant man.
Right, and I think they were infiltrating the Millwall Bushwhackers. Is that the right firm that they were going after?
That's yes.
Yeah. Right, so Shapwell Town are based on Millwall, who, like Millwall, they eventually get to the first division at the end of the 1980s. And the lead character, played by Rhys Dinsdale, is a well-known British actor. He gets asked to infiltrate the firm, doesn't he? The club's known as the Dogs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to pick it up from there as a character? Because the great thing about ID is it's not a football movie. It's a character study. There's no football in the film.
No. And then basically, there's these two police officers that have to infiltrate, British police officers that have to infiltrate the hooligan group. And the way they do it is they go to a pub called The Rock, and one of them is just a complete drip. He's useless. He turns up in like deck shoes, orders half a pint of bitter, just like the guy's a wimp. But the other guy is he's one of those old school Gene Hunt style police officers, and he just takes to it like a duck to water, and he seduces the barmaid. He gets in with the group instantly, but he sort of is too good at it, and he ends up enjoying the hooliganism a bit too much, and he loses his identity and essentially becomes a hooligan. He forgets that he's a police officer, and it's just a very, very interesting film. And what I think, even if someone didn't like football, they could find it interesting.
Yeah. So
if you hold ID as the standard bearer or the pinnacle, even the book itself is very good. I would encourage everybody to read it. Again, even if you don't like football, it is interesting. If you hold that as like the pinnacle of undercover, it just makes it so interesting and so dangerous and exciting. And then you've got this, which was
from the ridiculous, from the sublime to the ridiculous. I just come back.
I wish it was ridiculous. You've got a group of home counties guys going, right, yeah. So, if you think about it, guys with bigger penises have a lower IQ, yeah. Right, so how much are you interested to invest? And this other guy, who's the undercover guy, who's like, well, I'm thinking like 200,000, and I'm a web designer. Oh, right, great. We need a web designer, so that any skills you have like that would be. So I'm learning coding myself, and it's just like, oh my god.
You're a racist who's also a web designer. What a fascinating Venn diagram that is.
like guys that are attracted to like women with bigger bottoms are just less intelligent. That's science. That's just science. It's scientifically proven. My degree's in English literature, but I talk about science. It's just like, oh gosh, it's so boring.
Right. So let's just. I don't think anybody comes out of this looking good at all.
No,
that reminds me on any side.
Everybody comes out of it looking really, really boring.
Yeah,
and even the other guy's like, my mum was from Mauritius. Well, to be honest, mate, if you hadn't mentioned that your mum was from Mauritius, I wouldn't have known. I would have just thought, oh, you're an English guy. I just thought, oh, you're just another home counties English guy. I would not know that your mum is from Mauritius.
Right, I just come to just hit the rewind button slightly. I just want to come back and a couple of points about the film ID, first of all, if I can. The first thing is, I think that the whole point of the film ID is how, because John's working class as it comes, right?
Yeah, he's a working class guy.
He's a council estate lad, and Trevor is more of a middle class guy.
If I may, he went to a grammar school.
Yes,
he's got A levels. He's a bright lad.
Academically, but he's not street smart, and it shows. So, but the thing is, the whole thing is about, despite
working class guy is street smart and has been to a grammar school. He's like that old school. No.
Trevor, John's the guy who actually becomes a hooligan.
Yeah.
Right?
He's got but he does have A levels.
Right. Trevor's more middle class, isn't he? That was the impression I got.
Yeah, he's into like sailing, things like that.
Yeah. So it kind of shows, and it's like, well, he was the wrong person. He was only on there. He was only there because he was the boss. He was the sergeant. And the thing is, there is no rank undercover. It's whoever takes to it best.
Because you can start pulling rank, but you'll just get yourself killed.
Yeah. The other thing is that it shows, I think the point of that movie, and there's a character study, deliberately leave football out of it, and it's a great decision. It's a good movie for that reason. Is it really demonstrates that whatever John has done for himself, there's a part of that life of drinking and a bit of savagery and beating the shit out of each other that just appeals to him. It's like it doesn't. It's the speed. If you see right from the very first game that he goes to, I think he starts chanting, "You're going to get your fucking egg kicked in." And he gets pissed with his wife in the restaurant. Remember, he just keeps ordering more wine. Yeah. There's this very quick, the speed of the slide in that lifestyle. Because I think he prefers it. That's the whole point. It's not just that he forgets who he is. Out of the two, he prefers the hooligan. And at the very end of the movie, there's some ambiguity about whether he really is in like some sort of proto-Nazi organization, or he's undercover. It's kind of ambiguous, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
And
it's so fascinating.
Yeah, and it is a good, but they don't make movies like that anymore. In terms of this film, oh my god, where to start?
Have you seen it, Mayans?
Well, the undercover thing, I've been watching it over the last couple of days. Yeah.
What did you actually watch it all the way through? Like you watched it to the end?
Undercover? No, I've made it about 2/3 of the way through so far.
When I say I watched it, I watched about 20 minutes and I was bored.
No, I'm about 2/3 of the way through it now.
Are you bored?
I'm terribly bored, but I have a job to do.
I mean, it's so boring. Even the racists are boring.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few things here. One is hope not hate. They have a horse in the race here. They have skin in the game. They have a vested interest. They are not a charity, right? They are, and they're not part of the political left, like your friend Mr. North suggested. They're not part of that. They are part of the intelligence services, and they're part of the game of bigging up threats beyond their actual size. They have skin in the game, and they have a vested interest in keeping their funding from the Home Office. And so it's a bit like the infiltration.
A lot of them are taking a wage from.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, for sure. So the likes of Lowell's and Collins are on decent money, right?
Forgive me if I'm mistaken, but I might be labouring under the misapprehension that one of the top people in Hope Not Hate was a member of the National Front in the 90s.
You know Matthew Collins. That's the claim. That's the claim, anyway.
I don't know the name. I don't.
Yeah,
know
that's the claim. It is claimed that Matthew Collins used to be a member of the National Front. Yes.
No, as far as I know, he was in the 90s, and then he went to. I don't know. He informed on them or something, and.
Yeah, but you see, that's always struck me as very suspicious. You know what I mean? Because let's say, for the sake of argument, one of us was some sort of racist. Okay. Like we would have come to that conclusion for a reason, right? It might be a faulty reason, it might be a misguided reason, right? But let's say one day we had an epiphany and realised we were wrong, or we started to question what we believed, or whatever, right? You don't go hopping across to the other side. That's weird. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you know.
Yeah.
What, in one fell swoop? I'm sorry, I don't believe in a word of this.
It's so.
Yeah. It's
weird. It's so weird.
Yeah, I mean, Matthew Collins, for all I know, you know, he may not have done this, but there's perfectly possibility that he got caught doing something, and this was the deal. You either come and work for us, or we throw you in the clink. You know what I mean? It's like, there's all sorts of possibilities. You could be compromised. You could well be an asset. The thing, I have had a good look at Hope Not Hate. It's impossible to join them. You can't just walk in off the street and join them.
Okay.
There is no, it's not like, I've been a member of a couple of political parties. As you know, you can just go online, email, contact us agree to pay.
You can do that with everything from the BNP to the Communist Party. I mean,
right, or the libertarians, like I get, or whatever. Right? You go on you just go online, you go contact us. Is it okay if I join? I can confirm I'm not an ex-murderer. Here's your 15 quid. And that's it. You can't do that with Hope Not Hate. You can't. You literally cannot join them. So how do people end up working for them? Right. So how do these activists end up working for? Who chooses them? And how do they get it? How do you become a member? How do you become a member of their posse? So, and the thing is, you just need to look around, mate. Yes, they managed to get to a conference where there was some very weird people talking about racial purity and Jewish conspiracies. And such people do exist, right? They're weird, they're cranks, they're loons, right?
Yeah.
And you're right, most of them are actually pretty dull. Once you've heard their shtick once, you've heard it 1,000 times. Right?
Oh, yeah. But I actually quite enjoy watching undercover work. Like, one of my favourite ever documentary series is The Cook Report. I think Roger Cook was brilliant. And this is so far away from The Cook Report.
Oh, this is the Cook Report.
But the Cook Report actually got justice for people. It actually did some good in the world. This is nothing. This is, what have you achieved through this? Apart from some guys who were already openly putting themselves online, by the way, already. Most of these guys were like YouTubers, active in political parties. They were already public figures, and you've now put them on a documentary. But they were already open about who and what they were to begin with. So I don't understand what.
No, you're right. I mean, this is the thing with the Hope Not Hate have got a vested interest in giving this false impression to people that there is an enormous far right threat, amongst the population. Like there is some sort of.
I personally wouldn't want to live in a country where reform or whatever are in government.
Reform
or whatever shade of stupidity these people are trying to expose. I wouldn't want to live in a country where they're in government. I'm not.
Hang on, because you're going down there's two different things here. Reform UK, right? I don't support them. Never voted for them. Anything like that.
I don't know much about them. I don't know.
Reform.
I just hear them in the Spanish news.
Right. Well, Reform UK. I'm just going to offer my insight from where I'm at, and I don't have a horse in the game politically, as you know. So Reform UK, yes, there are a bunch of, I don't know, there are a bunch of fucktards is the word I would use to describe it. They're like I don't know, they're like politics by numbers. It's not even a proper political organisation. It's like a franchise. They haven't got any actual activists.
It's just like a political party for boomers, you know. It's like,
right, but I wouldn't lump them in with these weirdos who talk about racial purity or anything like that. They're just a bunch of buffoons. They're just clowns. Reform. Honestly, that's all I see. I don't even see anything menacing about them. They're just bumbling idiots. And the other thing is, you've got to think about it this way: they get a lot of oxygen, they get a lot of airtime, right? There must be establishment. And by the way, it's come out in the not so distant past that Reform UK used Hope Not Hate.
Right.
They used Hope Not Hate to vet potential candidates. So, this thing about them being anti-establishment and the establishment hates us and stuff like that. Look, why are you on TV every 5 minutes?
Farage was never off. I mean, it's a long time since when I lived in the UK. I left in 2013. Around that time, Farage was never off the TV. He was never off Question Time.
No, so I have. If you've ever been a member of a minor political party, you will be. It's murder, absolute murder. Trying to get people to acknowledge that you exist. So the idea that the establishment have got it out for Reform UK is bollocks. They're establishment. They are establishment. I wish people like GB News it's like controlled opposition. It's permitted opposition.
It's kind of like when I've watched it, and there's a program I actually use for some of my kids that I teach. Newsround. I'm talking from an English language level. Uses a higher level of English language than GB News. GB News is for the thick. I mean, it really is bad. It's bad. Like, if you look at the vocabulary they use, the lexis, it's just awful. It's absolutely awful. And the production quality is in the toilet.
Well, so be it. If it was a low budget station, I mean, the production.
No, but it's not. Have you seen how much money gets pumped into it? There's a lot of money thrown at GB News. It's not low budget.
Unfortunately, it's on that two lies dichotomy, isn't it?
You think people like Andrew Neil work for free?
Well, Andrew Neil doesn't work for them. He worked for them for about 5 minutes.
He realised it was a joke. But do you think they got through the door for free?
Well, no. I appreciate there'll be people getting paid actual money, but
a lot of money.
But the thing is, you've got this. They're just on the other side of this two lies thing, this game of table tennis, and it misses the point entirely.
Wasn't there one that completely just it died? There was another GB News or a copy, like a GB News alternative that was just basically had the same people bouncing between the two channels, and it just died.
Well, Talk TV's still going.
Yeah. But it's only online. It actually they just pulled the plug on it.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, there was somebody was on it who was. It must have got on by accident not very long ago. I was vaguely interested.
I wouldn't. I really do wonder. I mean, even if I was politically minded, like a GB News producer, why the hell would you want Jeremy Kyle having anything to do with your channel?
I don't know. I don't know how Jeremy Kyle didn't get a harder ride over the. But then there's the thing, like people point at Jeremy Kyle, they point at politicians, and they point at everybody, but actually the general public itself. Look, if people hadn't been watching that fucking dog shit of a program that he used to present, right?
I didn't watch it. I was in
the millions. Yeah, I mean, it used to be on the big screen at work in the canteen.
I was at work or I was at school.
I mean, I make the joke sometimes because I know you like Jim McDonald. I have a man crush for Kilroy, right? So.
Oh gosh, yeah. That's
but this is the thing.
Amazing.
So basically, they replaced television. I know it's on different channels, but basically, Jeremy Kyle was the replacement for Kilroy. I mean, like, it was 1 in, 1 out. It was a substitution.
Kilroy, that was a good show.
That was a serious television program.
I've watched old clips of him, and it's almost like he's bending over backwards to be neutral. Like,
good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning. Have you ever seen Harry Hill doing Kilroy?
yeah. What the Kilroy rap? That one, the Kilroy rap on Harry Hill.
I never touched her.
yeah.
Your daughter's in her wedding dress. She's just about to get married, and you pour ink all over her dress? No, I never touched her.
What was that? You kissed, you cuddled, and then what was it? And then 6 weeks later, she told you the important news. I'm a man.
Oh! You drug the old people in a nursing home for the convenience of the staff? I don't.
Yeah, the way he says staff and words like that is brilliant. Yeah, I used to like Kilroy. He was great. Man as a box of frogs.
Interesting fact about Kilroy: he was the MP for Ormskirk.
He was Labour MP as well.
Yeah.
But he fell out with the loo and he left. He did. You know, the militant, the people like that. He couldn't. He couldn't stand. He couldn't stand.
He's over here now. He's actually a millionaire down in Malaga.
Oh, is he?
He made his success selling timeshares. He was a really competent timeshare salesman, and he's made over $1 million. He lives in an absolute palace down in Fuengirola, which is just outside of Malaga. He's done really well for himself. So capitalism has been his servant.
Well, hopefully, like a true socialist, he'll share it around with people. You know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, my money is he won, right?
He drives around in. Apparently, he drives around in a Bentley, which is a very expensive car. A Bentley.
Yeah. You don't get many at the second-hand dealership, do you?
Well, it's a 5-liter engine.
Yeah. So this hope not hate thing. Sorry, just back on point. This hope not hate thing. They've got skin in the game. They've got a vested interest for two reasons, actually. One is it's like the old thing in Northern Ireland. When normally we have people in Northern Ireland in the army, the military was infiltrating both sides. You're on your old bounds in the military. So they have people.
Actually, not that long ago, like about a month ago, I saw a very good film on Spanish TV that was based on that, called 71.
Right. Yeah, I mean, so you have people like Steak Knife, who was a British asset. Is that right?
Yeah, Freddie Scappaticci. Yeah, apparently he went to the door. He was having his tea. He went to the door. He had a fork in his hand, and someone just went bang, shot him dead. But the weird thing about that was he actually represented. He was a solicitor lawyer that represented people from both sides of the community. So neither side would have killed him.
Right, because there was a thing about he was like a marked man, and the thing is, it was very embarrassing for the British state.
I watch a YouTuber called the Good Listener podcast, and he's Catholic himself from south of the border, and he interviews.
No. You're not. Steak Knife went on the run.
I'm talking about. I'm talking about somebody else. Then.
Steak Knife, yes, Frank Scappaticci, I think was his name, and he went on the run, and he was living in England because the problem was that it was the British state's problem. They put him in there. I think he became like a big player in the torture unit or something. And then he got kind of rumbled. And then he was a marked man, and lots of people were after him.
I remember years ago. I was at a Glasgow Rangers match with my dad. He was a big Glasgow Rangers fan, and there was this young lad. I don't know. I would have been about 15, and we were in a pub. I can't remember which, but we were in a pub in Glasgow before the match. No, after the match. And there was this lad singing something about Bobby Sands. And my dad just went to him, "Yeah, son, it's really easy to gob off about it when you're 200 miles away from the action."
Well, you wonder. A lot of it's got nothing to do with football or religion. It's just morons. You know,
Yeah,
people
it's
engage in
just
that kind of
dickhead.
thing.
It's just
You know,
dickheads.
yeah, and you'll get them everywhere. But yeah, my point about hope not hate was that they've got a vested interest in building this far right threat of something far greater than it is. I don't dispute that these weird people exist, but the good news is, like, you know what, you know, these people, you know, these fake professors and the like who talk about racial purity and shit, right? And about, you know, the average IQ of, I don't know, white people versus black people versus Japanese people. It's a tiny group of people. You know, a lot of these people are no threat to anybody. Actually, they're not going to plant bombs or shoot anybody or anything like that. They're just weirdos,
boring dickheads
right?
who aren't getting laid. You know,
Right? They're like incels. It's like, and you can, and like these, you know, these. You know, there's these hope not hate people who are making them out to be, one, a far bigger menace than they actually are, and two, they're implying that these people are everywhere. No, they're not. No, is this your, is this, yeah, go on.
If you work for Hope Not Hate,
Yeah,
you're not. Your job's not probably that difficult, right? You're on a good number. You're getting paid quite well. You're not doing a hell of a lot.
You're not earning any value.
You want to keep that number. Do you know what I mean? You know what I mean? You want to keep yourself in employment because, you know, I mean, you're taking home a good wage. You're not working particularly hard.
Well, yeah, the last thing you want to do is be working for a living, isn't it?
I mean, do you want to have to go and get a job? Hell no. But jobs are fucking horrible.
But this is the example. This is a good example of that parasite class that we were talking about. They're not all on the dole, and they're not all sat in CEOs' offices or you're on the boards of companies or whatever. Yeah, yeah. You're high class parasites. There's plenty of there's plenty of parasitic behaviour in corporations.
Not to mention, if you sort of get yourself on TV enough, you might get a seat in the House of Lords.
Right. Well, we'll talk about another parasite class of people in a minute, if you don't mind. But there is, the one on YouTube. But the thing with Hope Not Hate is, yes, they've got a vested interest in keeping their own jobs. It's like you're right that turkeys don't vote on Christmas, right?
No.
And so they want to build up this idea that there's this enormous far-right threat, right? For that reason, they're very straightforward. It becomes a self-perpetuating spiral. Moreover, I can rather imagine, the people who are in Hope Not Hate, who spent their entire day talking about the far right, yeah?
Yeah.
It's never healthy to live in an echo chamber. They probably believe this stuff now. If you spend say a couple of years working in an environment like that, and all you're doing is talking about the far right all the time, you probably build it up in your own mind to be a far bigger threat than it actually is. You probably think the work that you're doing in terms of shutting them down is vital and important for national security or something. It's delusion, yeah. But you listen to anybody who's spent a long time in an echo chamber, they're fucked up. It's not good for you.
Yeah.
Get out and speak to people who disagree with you.
Again, it comes back to that. I don't know if you noticed, but sort of people that are quite different as sort of police officers and squaddies because they live like in their own little bubbles. So they're completely like they have their own sense of humor and things like that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and the other thing you've got to think about was organisations like Hope Not Hate as well. There is a general push towards surveillance, monitoring, spying on people, restricting people's freedoms, intercepting people's phone calls, emails, all sorts of stuff like that. Yeah, you're seeing this film, Nick Lawls, and I don't believe a word of it. And what's his name? Collins, the other guy, and they're all about Lawls is claiming somebody's trying to shoot him, right?
Because I mean, that guy just thinks he's like Roger Moore or something. I mean, get a grip, man.
Like
Spy Who Loved Me on benefits.
There's a thing here. We'll talk about what I've been doing this week in a minute because it's interesting. Because you put yourself in danger when you do things like that. You've got to understand the risks that come with it. You warn me of the risks that come with that, right? And when you do that, it's like
Really?
lols.
You think there was any risks with this? You think?
No. Do you know what? I think I'm in more danger doing what I'm doing than Nick Lols ever was. Genuinely, I do.
You think those far right guys are capable of fighting sleep?
I
mean, really? They
no,
blow up on a birthday cake.
I think
they're just nerds.
And look, I think these people who I saw, these far right people I saw in this film, I wasn't scared of any of them. No. I didn't think any of them represented a kind of existential threat. No.
You know what? My overwhelming emotion was for them. I felt sorry for them.
I hoped it was a phase that most of them would grow out of.
Yeah, I just
in 10 years they'll look back on this with great regret and sadness.
Exactly. I just felt sorry for them. Really, I didn't feel like scared of them. I didn't feel angry. I just thought, oh, what a waste of your youth. Don't do that, mate. Don't do that. Just go out, travel, go on holiday, get drunk, have sex. Just go to some concert.
That's funny when Lols is sat on that bench going, and the guy, oh my God, there's this guy. What did he say? What was he doing? He was sending. He liked a Tommy Robinson video on Facebook, and then he sent him some. He sent some takeaways to his house or something.
Yeah.
And then it turned out he bought a gun in America. Well, you mean like a country where it's legal to buy a gun?
I wish someone had sent free takeaways to my house. I'd freeze them and have them. I wouldn't mind someone sending free curries to my house.
Yeah, I like that. So somebody bought a gun and they sent you some takeaways to your house, and you've concluded from that they specifically want to shoot you dead. I think that's quite an intellectual leap you're making there, Moles. I really do. Right.
I mean, I wish someone had sent me some free curries.
Yeah.
I haven't had a decent curry in years.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So I thought it was, but the thing is that they want to use this far right threat they want to use it as a justification for more state intervention in people's lives and less freedom and fewer civil rights for everybody. And they want to spy on the population. They want to have constant monitoring of the population. We're talking about that kind of surveillance. So shows like this will be heavily monitored. Phone calls, emails, chats. One of the reasons that they don't
monitor
like
away,
pubs, but authoritarians don't like pubs for a reason. But I think you've alluded to it in the past. Pubs are great places for people to exchange ideas and information.
There's no control over who you're going to meet. It's completely random. Random.
Yeah, correct.
You'll just meet some completely random guy. You'll have a weird conversation. He'll recommend a film or a book to you that you've never even heard of before. You'll go and watch it or see it. And it's just a uniquely wonderful thing. And they don't like it. They don't like. And also another thing I like about pubs is you it doesn't matter if you're you could be a QC, sorry, not QC, a KC, and you could be a guy who pushes trolleys around as the car park. In the pub, that's gone. In the pub's very socialist. Everybody's the same. You leave your rank at the door, so to speak.
Yeah, absolutely. If you've had too much to drink or you're causing body a row, it doesn't matter who you are. I came away from all that thinking, I'm not. I can see the agenda here. This is what Hobart are really part of. They're part of the authoritarian agenda. So just to restrict people's movements, their freedom of expression, the right to protest and things like all that's going to get shut down in the name of tackling the far right. Yeah, and that, my mate, is why the Home Office give this left wing organisation money. The fact the left wing is a red herring. Yeah, our friend Mr. North has got this badly wrong. Okay, it's not about that. It's about their role in in the intelligence side of it and promoting authoritarian measures to deal with the problem that they've blown out of all proportion in the first place.
I mean, I'm where my politics are.
Mm-hmm.
You know where my politics are.
Yeah.
And I have absolutely no time for hope, not hate. Absolutely not.
Good, because they're dishonest. There's a few things I don't like in life, right? And I totally respect people who are like socially democratic, who think this country should be like Denmark or whatever, right? Totally legitimate, the conversation to have. But there's some things I don't like. Anyone who's dishonest and anyone who's a grifter. And hope not hate, like they're amongst the biggest grifters in the game, aren't they? I mean,
by the way, I'd say their close second would be Navarra.
Navarra, right? Okay. So just briefly, if we can, well, yeah, they're pretty bad. They're pretty bad, but funny enough, Tommy Robinson's a grifter as well. And this is the thing with hope not hate, and people like
grifters come from all political spectrum.
Yeah, well, things like people like this is funny though. People like Tommy Robinson and that Paul Golding. I thought he was in jail, Paul Golding, but there you go. He must have got out. And they
Golding.
Yeah. I don't know what happened to Jada.
You've got me at a disadvantage there. I don't know who Paul Golding is.
Paul Golding is well, you'll remember Jada Franson from Britain First. Well, Paul Golding is the other one. They were like the leaders.
What? I don't remember Britain First.
Yeah, well, they used to wear like green combat jackets and sort of. What? I don't know. Yeah, and then there was an amusing photograph of Paul Golding that came out when he had underpants on his head at a war, like a Remembrance Day service, and someone had put some underpants on his head for a photograph. He's not the sharpest shovel in the coal mine, if you know what I'm saying. But that's probably why he's being pushed. And the thing is, these people who hope not hate push and basically advertise. Yeah, they're rabbit holes. I mean, honestly, if Tommy Robinson is your hero, I feel sorry for you.
Tommy Robinson, I don't think I'm speaking out of turn when I say he's constantly looks charged up.
Like he may be on a substance.
Yeah,
he may have taken an unnamed stimulant.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm not judging him for that. I drink a lot of red wine, a lot of beer, a lot of whiskey. So I'm not judging the man, but it maybe you shouldn't be leader of a political movement if you're, using a substance.
Right. Well, he could do a cheeky line off the dispatch box, and then the Michael Gove could be stuck behind him. Give me a line. Right. Look at that scene out of Twin Town in the toilets,
Oh, I've forgotten about Michael Gove. Why have you put him back in my head? Oh, the man.
Why? Because I think I know which substance you were alluding to, but we won't name it for the sake of legal reasons. They could have done it together. You never know.
Shane Ritchie, Dad's Doorstep Challenge.
Right. Oh my God. Right. That was Danny Baker originally, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Good old Danny Baker. I miss him. Wish he hadn't got cancelled.
Oh, bless him. Well, he made a mistake, didn't he? He did make some sort of joke or some sort of comment where he likened Meghan Markle a monkey or something.
I remember
it was a race thing, wasn't it? Something.
Remember when I was at Exeter University, I had a German girlfriend, and she used to constantly get angry with me because she actually swear in German. Because every Saturday morning I used to insist on setting my alarm clock, waking up to listen to Danny Baker.
Yeah,
it was so good. It was the best radio show ever.
It was a good show. It was a good show, I used to listen to it regularly as well whenever I could. Yeah.
I'll tell you something else. Didn't it put you in a good mood?
It made you feel like you were going to make use of that day. It made you feel like, you know what, I'm going to be productive and useful today.
Yeah.
The other thing about it was, I realised the value of that show when it got cancelled and the absolute tripe they put on in its place. I was like, oh my God, the drop off in standard is like it's fucking huge.
And like me, he used to like PG Woodhouse, and he was such a good guy. I hope he's okay. I like
Yeah,
that.
he's got so many sort of general interests and things, and he knows so much about like little things like that. And there's a really good film of his on YouTube called Danny Baker's Freak Football, which is
Yeah.
from the mid-90s. Have you ever seen
I
that one?
remember he used
Yeah.
to say like stuff like he used to go out afternoon drinking and then he'd come back fall asleep in front of the TV. And then he'd be like woken up by Casualty. I remember saying Casualty is an absolutely awful program. If you've had a few beers, you fall asleep in the front of the TV. It's so noisy.
Yeah. Oh, you mean that ambulance at the start?
Yeah. Casualty should be cancelled. It's the worst program. It's so bloody noisy. Danny Baker was brilliant. And he put me in a good mood. I'd go off to the library. I'd be really, like you said, I'd be really productive. He'd sort of put me on a high vibrational level. And I miss him. I hope he's all right.
Yeah, I remember. I remember. Yeah, I mean, look, it was regrettable that he went the way he did, but you know, everyone makes mistakes, and yeah, there should be a way back.
One mistake.
Yeah. It shouldn't have been the end for him. That's the point.
He didn't kill anyone. He didn't assault anyone. He didn't like. Come on. Was anyone in hospital because of what he did? No.
You know, he should have probably just been suspended for a few weeks, been told, "Don't you ever do that again," and then and then
no. It has
he comes back on his last chance, sort of thing, you know. Right, but no, they had to get rid of him there and then. So. Yeah, so I actually remember. I'll come to the next thing in a second. I remember there was an absolutely epic session that I had with a good mate of mine in West Kirby years ago. I always actually book the day of our work's Christmas party. I book it as holiday so I can get myself as far away, like deliberately into another county.
Liverpool, right?
Yeah, West Kirby in Mersey. It's on the Wirral. So I went there, and I remember it was an epic day, and I want to thank Mark for that. It was a great day. We went out drinking wine. Actually, we had a day drinking wine.
That's very posh.
And I had to get back as well after doing 2 bottles of wine, basically.
Ooh, no. Don't fall asleep.
And I did. I somehow did get back, and I got up the following morning. I was a bit rough. I was laughing. I was like, right, well, do you know what? Danny Baker's on. I got up about 8:30, I think. I must have got about 8:30. Danny Baker's on. Just throw on the first set of clothes that you can. Get yourself to the shops. You know, get yourself some Lucozade and put Danny Baker on. You know, it was like a kind of soundtrack to Saturday morning for a lot of people. I think
revived you know. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just a great. It was a really good program, and it'll be missed. You know, it is missed to this day, I think. And you know, they don't let broadcasters like him anymore.
I remember years ago I had a VHS of Danny Baker's football gaffes or something.
Oh, on goals and gaffes, I think.
On goals and gaffes, that was it. It was a VHS I had years ago, and he was brilliant. He's still alive, bless him, but we'll never hear from him again.
They're all on YouTube, the Danny Baker videos. So the on goals and gaffes and the free football. Are all on there. I love that one where the comment. Remember Wire TV?
Yeah.
Wire TV is famous for a few things. They used to have the what was it? The weather topless in Norwegian. They had topless darts, and they used to have conference football. Remember? They also had a show with Paul Ross on it. Remember that one? That guy who was in the papers.
Jonathan Ross's brother.
Yeah, and remember that one? That guy it was on in bed with me dinner. That guy who claimed he was a gigolo and he wasn't. And every sentence he finished with the word.
You talk to women about Coronation Street, and they love it.
That's the one, right?
You know, to you and me, it's boring, but women love it. It's like tool. It's like.
I love this moniker as well. Just too handsome to live, and it's like we're both a lot better looking than he is, all right? But too handsome. Too handsome.
Like, to you and me, it's boring talking about Coronation Street, but women absolutely love it. So let's talk to them about that. Like Richard Gere, like a beat-up Richard Gere.
Yeah. Oh, God, brilliant. And like, but they also used to have conference football. Do you remember it? They used to have conference football, and there's this brilliant one on Danny Baker's Freak Football, where the ball goes in the box and run code, I think it is, score. It's like a late winner as well.
Yeah.
And it goes, crowd are going absolutely berserk, and it cuts to these three kids with run code scarves. I'm going, yay! The crowd are going absolutely berserk. And Baker goes, no, that's class 4G here. There's no homework this week, you know.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
brilliant. Yeah.
He's
So
get himself on Spotify.
Danny Baker, we'll find out what he's doing later. We will do. Well, hey, I'll put a cheeky invite out. I'm sure he's been on worse things than this.
Yeah.
He had his own TV
At the
show.
end of the day, if you come on our show, you can go to Preston and we'll buy you pints at Christmas.
I'll tell you what, Danny. If you come on trying to take in this, you can host it. Okay, we'll be your assistants for 2 hours. So
I will buy you your pints if you come to Preston. If you does he drink beers? Does he or is
Danny,
he?
I don't know, because obviously he had the health thing, didn't he? And
Yeah.
Look, right now we'll see what he's doing anyway. Right.
Yeah.
Which one thing? Obviously, I've been in touch with you about something else. Yeah. Well, hopefully not. Hopefully, give it 5-10 minutes. We'll be chatting.
If I was
like
in Danny Baker, I'd be a bit starstruck. It'd be like being in front of like Ricky the Dragon Steamboat or something. It'd be a bit.
Well, hopefully, I'd like to think that'd be the case for about 5 to 10 minutes. But if Danny Baker's who I think Danny Baker is, I think you'd be relaxed and chilled out within 10 minutes.
Yeah.
As you know, we've been chatting about something else I'm on with at the minute. We can't go into the details of it because
No.
because it's very much a game in play. But we are getting somewhere, and we have been told it'll be taken seriously. And I've submitted quite a bit of evidence on it. And
does it cost any money?
Cost any money? It'll be minimal if so. It'll be minimal
if you require any funds from my end, do not hesitate to tell me, and I.
Don't worry. I've got, if it's 15 quid, I've got 15 quid, and we don't grift, do we?
Just for my own conscience, I'd like to contribute. £7.50.
Well, okay. Well, thanks. I'll bear that in mind if I need it. All right. But the thing, the thing with that is.
But this is a joint operation,
Well, it was really my idea, because I thought, God, that's one of the things. I cannot stand a few things. There are people who, there are grifters, people who steal a living, people who, they take money out and they don't produce anything or create anything or contribute anything.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, if you do it, I'll send you a bit of cash and you can get yourself a few pounds with it instead of nothing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, well, cheers, man. But it's one of those little things about. You know what? The funny thing is the quote alternative media now is as bad as the mainstream media is. It's about as reliable, about as trustworthy, about as honest.
Well, the certain gentleman that I don't like, the follically challenged man from the Wirral.
Which one?
I believe he's from St. Helens, is it?
Which one are you on about?
He's follically challenged and consistently interviews. I'm not saying his name. He consistently interviews people who've been in prison.
Oh, him! Oh, God, yeah. Well, he interviews the guy that we're looking at regularly as well. Regularly,
yeah.
Regularly, it's like a griftathon. Please give generously. Yeah,
yeah. What happens to nonce is in prison? Tell me.
Yeah. Do you know what? You know what as well? Like is persistent. The pair of them, their persistent obsession and digging into that subject is creepy and unsettling. It's like
I told you. There was this series. I do like Steve Coogan as an actor, less so as a person, but as an actor, I do enjoy Steve Coogan. And somebody at work told me, there's this Steve Coogan series about Jimmy Savile. You've got to watch it. It's brilliant. I was like, I don't really want to, because I know after watching it, I'm not going to be in a great mindset. So it's like, do you know what I'm saying? I don't really want to watch something like that, because when I'm finished, I'm just going to be like, well, that was fucking horrible.
I'm
I'm
more
going to be
bit-
on like a big downer. So when I watch something, I want to watch something like, how to describe to you, like The Name of the Father or something like that, which did at the end of it, it was like a fight. It was like there was something positive there. Or Cinderella Man. You know, I remember watching Cinderella Man. I was like on cloud nine. It was like, yes. It was. But after watching something about Jimmy Savile, I'm just going to feel horrible and just like, and I don't want to be in that headspace. But these people, like that bald YouTuber, they're just like, oh, and tell me more. Oh, and what else happened? And what happened to you when you were a child in care? And it's just like, it's like a vampire. He's like
it makes my skin crawl. Listening to that kind of thing. I'm like,
it's just like he revels in misery.
You're just a little bit too interested in this stuff, and I suspect it's an unhealthy interest.
But it's just a revel in other people's misery. It's like, what do you get out of this? It's horrible.
Well, yeah, and there's that whole kind of, I mean, you're right about the Savile thing. I mean, I don't doubt Steve Coogan can play pretty much anybody if he wants.
Outstanding.
Yeah, as Tony Wilson, he was brilliant. But
I love when he was actually my favourite character was what was it now? It was back in the 90s. He was playing like this mulleted guy called
Paul Carr.
Paul Carr, and that had me in stitches. I remember my dad watching it, and I would just watch it sort of passively as he was, because in those days there'd only be one TV in the house, and it was funny, and I've watched it back, and it ages really well. As a man, less so. He seems a bit high on himself, but as an actor, he's outstanding, and I've no doubt he's done an outstanding job as Jimmy Savile, because the guy's a good actor. The guy can act. But I just don't want to be in the headspace that I'll be in after I've watched it.
Yeah, and I don't. Yeah, you're right. But Jimmy Savile's become. It's a sad one, this, because he's become another of those crime porn opportunities for people who want to. They want to make television, and they want to make money out of it, and it's become. It's a bit like like the craze used to be. There was how many documentaries or films about crime porn films about the craze of the big fucking loads, and people have made nice money talking about the craze. And this is where I get and this is where I get mixed feelings about when you talk about Paul Sykes, because he's an interesting character. But I know there's that guy who's writing a book about Paul Sykes, and I don't know what his motives are. They might be decent, or he might be on the crime porn gravy train. I don't know. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it could be.
Yeah. So I was thinking there, because the guy you talked about there, I can't stand, and there's just something, I mean, it's interesting what you were saying about that other gentleman the guy from Liverpool, and they were going to team up, and then they pulled the plug or something. Yeah. And I just thought that's got crime porn written all over. They were going to make crime porn together. They probably couldn't agree terms. But the thing I'm looking at is, it's on its way, and we'll see what happens with it, because if you can, because I don't know if you Googled that name into YouTube yet, but there is an absolute avalanche of stuff with that guy on it. I mean, you if you have done.
I haven't, no.
No, I mean, we're talking dozens of videos, and going on these videos for a couple of hours at a time and getting paid for it, no doubt, it's monetized content, right? And and it's like, why do you want to talk about this stuff so much? Yeah, a lot of this is your opinion. A lot of this is stuff you can't possibly know for real.
Do you know what? I get a vibe that this follically challenged YouTuber, if he ever had a doctor on, he would say, so tell me, what's it like giving someone a cancer diagnosis when they're terminally ill? What's it like? How does it feel? What do the people look like when you're saying it? You know what I mean? He's got that vibe about
it. God. Right. I suppose you don't have a coroner on yet.
Oh my God. Oh, he
Yeah,
just
yeah,
oozes like misery.
yeah, it's the more gruesome the better. I take your point completely, but the thing is, I mean, the alternative media is absolutely riddled now with with grifters, chancers,
Yeah.
people who want to get paid for free content. When you're back in England now, when you have a chat about what Series 2 is going to look like, because it's kind of the problem with this show. I think it's fallen between the cracks of if we're in the entertainment game, we're in the entertainment game. That's fine. You know what I mean?
I don't really want to be in. I don't really want to be one of those. How to describe YouTube in quotation marks YouTubers.
No, we're not. We're not. So we need to work out exactly what the picture of a program like this would be for the second series, really.
Okay.
But yeah, just get a bit of clarity, maybe tighten it up, maybe make the episode slightly shorter, not by much, but only slightly.
I mean, you're the boss. You're the boss.
Yeah, just because the bit of feedback I've had it just sounds like two people chatting or three people chatting sometimes, rather than having a specific point. If you know what I mean, right? You're a focus. Yeah. So that's just a bit of constructive feedback I've had from a couple of people. But the thing with the you're right about that guy who just there's something off about from a distance, there's something off.
But then it might be just like I might think that because it's just a personality thing. So it just might be his personality and my personality wouldn't click, and other people would be like, "Oh, what a great guy."
The thing is, there's this stuff. For a start, I don't believe a lot of this stuff about, and I'll be careful. I pick my words here about Satanists, right, and doing awful, crazy things, right,
I have no earthly idea.
right. Look, I'm sure such people exist, but the idea that there are mass gatherings of them and they do awful, unspeakable things.
There's probably mass gatherings of people that worship Terry Wogan. I mean,
well, yeah.
They think Terry Wogan was the Messiah or something. I mean, there's literally infinite ideas and religions out there.
Yeah. I mean, that's it. I mean, that's the thing.
There is one. The Togs. The Togs.
The Togs. Who are the Togs?
Terry's Old Geezers and Gals on Radio 2.
So do they have like meetings?
Yeah.
They've gathered. And
I'm going back 20 years ago when I worked in a place that had Radio 2 on. And they used to put Terry Wogan on in the morning, which it wasn't about a show. And he referred to his listeners as the Togs, Terry's Old Geezers and Gals. I wonder if he's dead now.
Yeah, he passed away. Yeah, I think he passed away a few years ago.
Oh, yeah. That's a shame. He was all right, was Terry Wogan.
Yeah, Terry Wogan was Irish-British broadcaster. He was.
When did he die?
He died in 2016. Yeah, he was 77.
Oh,
yeah,
poor guy.
There you go. That's when he interviewed David Icke, and David Icke said he was the son of God. And he said, "You can't be. Why not? Because I am." Right.
To be fair, I think he probably had David Icke accurately weighed up as what he was.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose the question with David Icke is whether he is. I don't know how to put this. It's a bit like psychics. It's funny, really. I was talking to somebody last week about people. There's one in Preston tomorrow, actually, a psychic who's performing at the Guildhall. And I'm saying to a good mate of mine, I said, the thing is, you've got to split these people down into two groups broadly. The deluded ones who actually think they have psychic powers, and the scammers. Right? With Icke, I kind of make the same kind of thing. I don't know which side of the line he's on with that one. He might be mad as a box of frogs, and he might genuinely think he's having kind of premonitions and visions of the future. And he's got amazing insight and what have you. Or he might actually be a grifter, or it could be a combination. Or it could have been it could be a combination of both. He's made quite a bit of money for himself as well.
He has. He's a strange guy, David Icke. But at the end of unlike the other guy who we were talking about, I can imagine if I met David Icke, I'd like him. I'm not saying I agree with his views. I'm just saying if I met someone with that personality, I'd be like, oh, what a great guy.
I know people who have met him, and apparently he doesn't have a sense of humour.
Okay.
Which sounds about right. Yeah, you can't. It's not somebody you can have a laugh with.
But it's like I always say, like, I have that. You and I have a couple of tests. The one is the Amazon package test, and the other is how would you feel about doing a shift with that guy? And I think doing a shift with David Icke would be okay. It'd be fine.
It would pass off harmlessly, yeah. Whereas
it'd be okay. And by the way, that's how low my my expectations are of human beings. It's like, will you give me my Amazon package? Can I do a shift with you? If it's yes, you get 2 thumbs up. That's how low the bar is right now.
Well, yeah, that's right. I mean, that's why I kind of got off the politics bus, because I think like a lot of the problems it's actually people. It's not,
Right. I'm not even saying we have to go over the trenches together. I'm just saying, can I do a shift with you? Will you give me my if I order a new iPhone 16, will you give it to me? If the answer is yes, you're a good guy. I like you.
Do you know what? You're right, because like life, if life was like Question Time, yeah, the problem's not the panel, the problem's the audience.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So,
less said about the Question Time audience, the better, because I'll get us into trouble. But
no, it's okay. Look, there was that story a few years ago when it came out that people were being planted in it. I mean, we've done this one before, haven't we? Where people were appearing on multiple episodes of Question Time and getting to ask questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, so people are popping up in Motherwell, and then they're popping up in Southend. It's like, well, that's some commute, that, mate. Right. So we had we did. I'm just conscious of time. I want to get wrapped up fairly soon.
My evening is wide open. After this, I have an appointment with a bottle of wine and some cheese. So don't feel like you're taking up too much of my night.
No, I won't do, but I will be off fairly soon. I'll let you know how that goes, because it's obviously in progress at the moment, and it'll be interesting. That's kind of the thing, if you could rumble one of these grifters, yeah. If you could actually prove decisively that one of these grifters was a grifter,
yeah.
Then it could open all sorts of. There could be all sorts of domino effects that spin off that. Because that guy you were talking about would be banging the frame next, yeah. Because he's going to.
Which one?
The receding gentleman.
No, he's receded.
The wholly receding gentleman, yeah. Yes. Yeah, but that's the thing. So if you expose somebody on, if somebody's been on somebody else's show,
is it Warrington or St. Helens?
I can't. Wherever it is, I feel sorry for them.
Around there. By the way, no smite on those towns. They are great towns.
I know. I know. Every town's got a blight on it, hasn't it? Yeah.
No, there's nothing wrong with Warrington. There's a great pub there near the train station. I've been in a few times, and it's a good place, good people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nothing bad to say about Warrington or St. Helens.
Even to the good people of both towns.
Yeah, even to the good people of Warrington and St. Helens.
But that was my thinking. If you can put one domino over like that, like what sort of cesspit are you going into here? It's like there's going to be a lot of other questions that come out of it. So we'll stay posted on that. I know you wanted to talk briefly about football, because there was a bit of a momentous result last night. We were talking.
There was a couple of interesting matches. The first one, the result wasn't as interesting as the occasion, but it was Larne against Shamrock Rovers.
Yeah.
An all-Ireland affair. And it really did show the gulf between the Northern Ireland Premier League and the League of Ireland. Which is a shame. And it really does. I hope sooner rather than later that the leagues are united, because I really think they would all benefit from that. I don't think it would be a Oberliga, Bundesliga situation. I think everybody, the tide would rise all boats. Obviously, Linfield fans and so forth would disagree, but I think Linfield would benefit from it too.
Well, I think that's an interesting point. I mean, like about the League of Ireland, the right. So yeah, you've got the
The
Irish
League of
League, which
Ireland
is
is actually a good league.
yeah, so the Irish League, which is the League of Northern Ireland, is
Oh, there's a lot of English players playing their trade in the League of Ireland.
yeah. So the Northern Irish League, what known as the Irish League,
Yeah,
is it's still not professional. That's
no,
the thing, and it's always been a pretty poor standard. And like you're
there's,
right that
there's
they
some big clubs down there in the League of Ireland. You know, the Shamrock
yeah.
Rovers, Bohemians. Real
Yeah,
big clubs that have
yeah,
European
yeah.
football.
We're going back about 20 years. Shelburne nearly got in the Champions League. Shelburne were actually,
They, I forget how many years ago, but they gave Rangers a fright when they played.
they did, they
They were
did,
like
they did.
3-0 up, was it?
Yeah,
And
that
it
was it.
looked for all the money like they were going to get a fourth.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that was like UEFA Cup tie years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was
Um,
a game.
but they were. Yeah, but I mean, I know Shelburne, they were great for a couple of seasons,
Yeah,
and was it Derry City hammered Gretna in Europe? Remember that and got through
they
a couple
did.
of
Yeah,
rounds.
but awful.
Yeah, yeah, but they got through a couple of rounds. They beat Gothenburg as well. So there's
Yeah,
so Irish club football. I mean, look, they've had teams in the Europa League group stages, and they've been and it's been pretty solid for quite a long time.
yeah, yeah.
The Irish League, it's just gone through a bit of a lull because of economics and everything else like that. The
And
problem with
Ireland, unlike other countries, Ireland faces a lot of competition. Football in Ireland faces a lot of competition. You've got obviously rugby; that's a very high standard.
well, and the Gaelic
GAA,
sports, yeah, the
you've
Gaelic
got
sport.
GAA, and now I think I'm not sure, but I think they're a Test match cricket side.
They are, yeah,
So there's a lot of competition for eyeballs in terms of a sport in Ireland.
Yeah, you're right. So rugby,
I mean, obviously,
rugby.
they've got cricket, they've got rugby, they've got GAA, they've got boxing.
Hurling.
I think that comes under the GAA umbrella.
Right, yeah. So the whole Gaelic games, yeah.
Yeah,
So
the whole
yeah.
Gaelic Association.
And the other thing being that in Ireland as well, a lot of Irish people support Man United or Liverpool or Arsenal or whatever.
There's that problem as well. Not to mention Celtic, Manchester United, Chelsea, Arsenal, Leeds, surprisingly as well.
Yeah, but I think you're right actually in the sense that the likes of, I mean, like Linfield have the potential. Linfield and Glentoran, for instance, have the potential to be like
in a way they're kind of punching under the weight.
Yeah, they have the potential to be clubs that like regularly get through a couple of rounds in Europe and maybe get to the group stages, like the Europa League, or something like that. Yeah,
a lot of those teams, like the other team we're watching. I mean, Astana, who played TNS. I mean, nowhere near a club the size of Linfield, or if you go south, Shelburne, Bohemians. I mean, Home Farm. There was a team on the outskirts of Dublin on the way to the airport called Home Farm. I mean, for years they were a feeder club to Everton in the 80s, when Everton was like a serious European side.
We'll get Gary back on to discuss that. That'd be ideal. Yeah, being an Everton fan. But you're right about that Irish League, the League of Ireland. Sorry, that really did. I mean, it was in a similar state to the Welsh League and the Northern Irish League until about 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
When it went professional, they started getting quite a few sort of English players in.
Just out of interest, have you ever seen a documentary about when the League of Ireland sent an all-star team to Libya?
I've not. I will check it out.
It's basically Republic of Ireland in the 80s were pretty decent side under Jack Charlton. Kirk Gaddafi was publicly expressing a lot of solidarity with the people of Ireland due to the troubles and whatnot. and he wanted to organise a friendly between Libya and Republic of Ireland, and he said there'd be loads of people show up. Only they did, only he couldn't get the Republic of Ireland. What he got was basically a bunch of painters and decorators, farm workers, mechanics, and so forth, who played for League of Ireland teams, who created this League of Ireland all-star team to play against the Libyan national team in the Gaddafi Stadium in front of like 90,000 people or whatever for a fee.
So I reckon Libya won that game.
No, it was 1-1. It was 1-1.
Was it?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, but I mean, like back in until like the early 2000s, it was all that was all part time as well. So. But that's the obvious progression, isn't it? For the team, because the thing is with TNS, they are professional, and I'm not quite sure how they do it because they get like crowds of 500 or something. That Welsh league is badly supported.
I mean, I've seen crowds of like 120 and things like that before on Wikipedia.
Which is like how on earth can you support a professional football team off that? It must be off the European.
This is, by the way, when I say like 120 and stuff, that's like for a Welsh Premier League clash. Now, Lancaster City get considerably more than that.
Yeah. I mean, like it's quite mad.
I'd imagine Chorley get a hell of a lot more than that.
Chorley gets Chorley
or NPL.
Chorley would be. It is not untypical for Chorley to get 10 times that.
Yeah. Oh, of course. I would imagine Chorley would get 1,500 a match.
Yeah, I mean 1,500. That'd be a good crowd for them. But yeah, but you can perfectly capable getting 1,500.
I mean, they've been on the edge of their conference.
They had one season in the conference a few years ago.
Yeah, they were with. Weren't they relegated with AFC Fylde?
Yeah, they were. It was a COVID season. I think, So the thing was well done to TNS. That's the first group stage win for a League of Wales team, because it's the first time the League of Wales team have been in it. They only lost 2-0 to Fiorentina, by the way.
Didn't Merthyr Tydfil once beat Inter Milan?
No, they beat Atalanta. Same coloured kit. No, they beat Atalanta. It was in the 1987 Cup Winners' Cup.
Which is still pretty cool.
It was 2-1, and they lost in Bergamo 2-0.
Oh. Have you seen what's happened?
But they won the first. Sorry?
Have you seen Sampdoria where they are?
Sampdoria. No, I've not. Have they dropped?
They're like Serie C.
Right. Okay. Did they go bankrupt or something?
I don't know. I just I was just looking the other day. I was just thinking, where the hell are Sampdoria? You never hear of Sampdoria these days. Genoa are sitting, and I googled it, and they're like in Serie C. Serie C.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. My.
I think Genoa are still.
It looks like my connections. Looks like my connection's unstable, by the way.
Okay.
Oh man.
You're all right, mate.
Oh, I'm back in. I'm back in just about. Yeah. Oh right, yeah. They nearly went bankrupt.
Okay.
They nearly went bankrupt, and I think they must have agreed to this, because I think if they had gone bankrupt, they'd have gone right down to. Is it Eccellenza, the one below Serie D? Like the Conference League of Italian football that have gone down to. So, but like Serie C's regionalised anyway.
Yeah. I mean, it will be.
Yeah,
it's an anomaly that only the UK. I don't think English football gets regionalised until you get down to 5th tier.
Well, 6th tier. Even the conference is a national league. We're unique in that respect. Yeah, we're unique in that respect. I mean, the French have 3 national leagues. Italy has 2. Germany has 2.
Spain has
we are unique.
Spain pretty much has 1 for every comunidad.
Yeah. Yeah, so no, look, the main thing that came from that is well done TNS. You know, they've done the new
Yeah,
Saints as they
definitely.
now know.
Definitely.
You know, whether they can go on from this. The funny thing, I was looking last night actually, thinking, you know, they're playing all their home games at Shrewsbury because we mentioned them earlier.
Right.
You know, and yeah, I think it must be because their own stadium's not big enough or whatever.
How the heck
For UEFA's
did
kind of price.
like back in the day wangled the way into the Welsh Cup? That is weird because that's like 100 miles from where.
Right, so what it was the Welsh Cup. So the winners of the Welsh Cup would go into the Cup Winners' Cup, as you'll know,
Yeah.
and that competition was typically, you know, the Welsh teams in the English pyramid, some Welsh teams, you know, like Bangor City or whoever, right, whatever
Yeah.
football existed in Wales at the time, before the league got set up, and they had to invite some border teams in, like Hereford, Shrewsbury, Chester,
Kidderminster's like
and it would appear
Birmingham.
just yeah, Kidderminster's pushing the boat out slightly, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean,
But
I mean, you could invite, I don't know, Preston, Blackpool.
well, are they as close to Wales as Kidderminster is? We'll have to find out. We'll have to find out how far all these places are from the Welsh border. But if it's because Kidderminster said yes, yeah, because obviously they needed to improve the standard of the competition. You know, otherwise, because I can only think before the League of Wales, it was a pretty poor standard, you know, in terms of Welsh football, and it wasn't organised.
I remember I used to watch the final on S4C years ago, and the thing it was in this really big stadium, huge national stadium that Wales used to have, and it had one weird running track behind the goal that I'll never understand. Like, why would you have just one running track behind the goal? Like, it doesn't go all the way around, just one behind the goal. Weird.
Right, is that the former Arms Park then? Will be.
I thought, what was it called?
Cardiff Arms Park, I think.
Yeah, National Stadium.
Yeah, the old Cardiff Arms Park.
Yeah. I mean, it was a good stadium. Right. I think they used it for rugby as well.
Yeah. So I'm going to nip off in a minute because I'm going to do something. Right. I'm just going to. Okay. I'm going to go for a bathroom break. All right. So it's up to you. You can come back on here if you want, or whatever.
Pleasure.
Right, but right. I want to do a couple of quick shout outs if I could before we go.
Yep.
A shout out to the nice guy this week who pointed out my recent weight loss, which is actually quite evident from episode 1 to here. You can tell I've not been drinking. I've been looking out for myself there, right? You can tell. Two, I want to say Rolly, who's been on this show a few times.
Oh, right.
I want to say, I want to say happy anniversary to Mr. and Mrs. Rolly, and I hope you're having a great time.
Absolutely, I share the sentiment.
Yeah. Thirdly, I wanted to thank I just want to say hi to the Space Hive Kid. You know who you are. And fourth, the yacht appeal. Now it's interesting. We were talking to Nikki again in the week, and it's come down to a private plane from a yacht. If I think we should get her on here one day. What do you reckon?
Pardon?
Nikki, my mate Nikki, we should do the yacht appeal, shouldn't we? She should come on and do it. Well, she was on the lookout for a new man. I said, "What are you looking for in a new man?" And she said, "A yacht." What's the first thing you look?
A yacht.
Yeah, I think she's been playful. But if you are a single yacht owner who's watching the show, then please get in contact with either of us.
Or a barge. A barge might do.
And I believe she's flexible and she might come down to a private plane. Okay, so on that bombshell, I will. I wish everybody a great evening. We can catch up again later very soon. Like what you fancy it, mate. I'm just gonna deal with something. We can catch up offline soon if you want. Thanks everybody who's been watching. And we will, We'll catch up to the next one. Yeah, so next Thursday, by the way, we've got a special episode of Try Imitating this for Halloween. We've not got the Chewits Monster on, we've not got the Liberal Democrats on, we've got someone slightly less scary than that on. We've got Tim Sherlock, who was a coach at NEC Nijmegen in the 1990s. We're going to talk about Dutch football and football generally, and really the whole thing about...
I will not be available on Thursday.
I know, absolutely. Yeah, you're pulling a sickie. And I know. It'd be just telling myself on the third. And on Friday of next week, we've got.
They have football on Thursdays, you see.
So. Oh God, yeah. But you think it's unlike me. You're actually good at football. And on Friday night, we've got Simon Roadnight, who was the front man, and probably still is, or still could be the front man of electronic band Raspberry Tortoise.
I still think we need to get the Rolly Sun on.
Well, we could definitely try.
Itching to interview someone in the professional wrestling industry.
Yeah, well, yeah. You actually, I mean, that's a good shout. You're under the banner of this program. You could interview him, no problem. I think you know far more.
Yeah, I think I could, because unlike politics isn't really my area, but where I do come into my own is professional wrestling. That's something I think I know a reasonable amount about.
Well, there's one other quick thing. I will finish with this, and that is it's quite amusing this week that the leader of the Labour Party can't define working people. He's asked, "Can you give me a definition of working people?" You know those people who the Labour Party was set up to represent, and he can't. So,
what a colossal donut.
So my advice would be, it's not to vote for the other lot. I'm not one of those people. Please just have a think about it. And I think you'll broadly agree with me on this. And I said this last week.
I won't be voting Labour.
No, right. This is the way I look at it. There's a red team and a blue team, and you're going to get incompetence from one, malevolence from the other, right?
Yeah. I mean, you've had incompetence from both sides, though, to be fair.
Right, hang on. But which one you see as the broadly incompetent one, merely incompetent, and which one you see as the nasty one, probably depends on your general perspective about that.
I mean, invading Iraq was pretty nasty, and Boris Johnson was pretty incompetent. Yeah,
but the thing is, have you not noticed that the thing with malevolent and incompetent is they tend to deliver remarkably similar results? So yeah. I would say, if you're going to cut someone some slack because they're merely incompetent, maybe don't.
By the way, David Cameron was itching to invade Libya. Sorry, Syria.
Yeah.
Blair style. We got, David Cameron was actually all right. It's like, he did gay marriage. It's like, yeah, he did, but he really wanted to do a Blair on Syria.
I can't believe that people think that that's the reason to think he was a good guy.
Gay marriage. Yeah, but then he also
how many in the world of the wacky, how many bad things does gay marriage cancel out? And that's assuming you think gay marriage was a good thing, which I don't think you can take as a given. I'm
broadly indifferent to let them have it.
Yeah, I think holding that up as some sort of amazing civil rights victory
doesn't change my life. Doesn't change my life.
No, but I mean, holding it up as some sort of some sort of, I don't know, some sort of Rosa Parks moment. It's like, no.
People go, if it wasn't for David Cameron, wouldn't have had gay marriage. Yeah, and if he could have done, he'd have sent Syria back to the Stone Age.
Well, I need to sent our troops in there, and they got British soldiers killed. And
then Piccadilly Gardens in Manchester would have been full of even more crack-addicted squaddies. I mean,
right, and we'd have been walking around the international stage with an even bigger target on our back. With more enemies around the club. Yeah, great idea. When do I sign up?
Sorry, no, David Cameron, complete fuckwit. He was a horrible little man.
He was. The thing with David Cameron was, I remember writing this about him in a very different platform. I remember saying Cameron had a very lazy mind. and he didn't pay attention to detail. It was sloppy and it was arrogant, and that's a very dangerous thing to be when you're in a position like that.
I remember watching the. I mean, I was over here at the time, but I remember watching the referendum when he called it. And he was saying, "Oh, and we need to. I believe we need to stay in the European Union and have this referendum." I'm like, what the hell are you doing? If you want to stay in the European Union, why are you doing this? Like, you're going to lose.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what happened in that referendum. What I think happened. And then we'll get off the thing, right? But just come back at me if you disagree. I think David Cameron fundamentally wrote a check he had no intention of cashing. So I think he went in the election promising that. He said, if the Conservatives win that election, and this is one of the things that's real in life. One of the few things you can't do without it being bloody obvious is rig an election. That's the thing, or a vote. Right? It's one of those things. Yes, you could rig a referendum or an election, but it would be bloody obvious. You'd have to have menacing people lurking in the streets and frightening people after death, right? So, or you'd have to have dodgy people in garages full of ballot papers. So it's one of those things that you can't. It's one of those few things we've got left. Is actually when you vote on things, it does tend to count. It's just you're only as good as the tyrants you get to choose between.
Yeah.
So, I think when he called that referendum, Cameron thought it doesn't matter because I'll probably win a majority. I'll probably win like a hung parliament. I'll probably get another hung parliament where I don't get a majority. And I'll just get the Lib Dems to go, no, you don't. I just put it out there that Nick Clegg said, no, we can't. Because we didn't, because the promise was very clearly, if we win, right?
Yeah.
And he would have said, oh, sorry, we fell too short of getting the majority.
He didn't bet on the Liberal Democrats. Just completely. It just turned it a dog food, didn't it? That whole vote share and seat count just disappeared overnight. They were down to was it 9 seats or something?
Yeah, it's fewer than 10. Yeah. And he was, but I think that was the thing with that referendum. He had no intention of cashing the check at all. He thought that the Lib Dems would get enough votes to save him and get him out of it.
I mean,
and then he won and went, oh shit.
I do struggle to see the logic behind Brexit. You're completely on your own. How could that possibly end well? I mean, I just think it's sort of like when I was a kid, there was a pub where I grew up that you just didn't go in. There was a pub that you just didn't go in. Now, the couple of times that I did go in that pub, I made damn sure I was with people. I would never go in that pub on my own. And I just don't see the benefit of being a small service sector economy completely on your own.
Well,
I mean, is England, Northern Ireland, Scotland, and Wales going to compete with Europe? I mean, it's just ridiculous.
The problem with Brexit is that
even if you're ideologically in favour of it, those are the waters we're swimming in. England, Wales, Scotland, and for now Northern Ireland against Europe.
Well, no, it's not. Look, the EU is not going to send. They're not going to invade us, right? They're not hostile enemies. We're just out of the EU. I regret a lot of the rhetoric that was used. I regret
you're competing again. No, what I'm saying is you're competing against them economically, and you don't stand a chance.
Well, I don't think we're competing against them. We're just not in the club.
Economy.
Right. Well, it's not
within a free market space.
It's not a free market. It's a closed shop. It's a free market. It's like a closed club. Right.
I mean, you think the UK is capable of competing with China?
Well, not.
What does the UK produce? What does the UK produce? If the UK tomorrow ceased to exist, how would that affect any other country in the world? What does the rest of the world need the UK for? Absolutely nothing. It's a service sector economy that's getting smaller by the day.
Well, hang on, but look, you mean about our manufacturing not being what it was, our manufacturing base being diminished, and right?
If the continent of Africa ceased to exist tomorrow,
Yeah.
the world just couldn't exist, because Africa has so many things that the world needs. The UK doesn't have anything. It doesn't do anything. It literally offers nothing to the world. I mean, even Russia. I mean, I'm not pro-Putin, but Russia supplies energy to most of Europe. The UK has nothing. It has literally nothing. And you think you can compete with Germany?
Look,
never mind China.
Look, I think that the problem with Brexit. Yes, you could. You know, if you actually had
an industry.
Well, we went about. Well, look, you could actually make. We're going to have to revive and regenerate it, but we can do it, right? We can do it, but it's about having the political will to do so. It's about actually wanting to do it.
You think nationalise trains?
Sorry?
Labour can't even nationalise trains. How are they going to restart the industrial sector? I mean, they can't.
I'm not saying they can. Let me just get a few sentences in, okay? So the problem with Brexit was you had a political class, right, that was against it, right?
Understandably so.
No. They were against it because they're part of it. They're part of a club. When you get thrown out, or you lose an election to be an MP, look, you get MEP as a runner-up prizes. It's all very cosy, right? There've been lots of people who failed at one who've gone on and been the other one. It was a nice little learner for people. And by the way, the UKIP lot did rather well out of being MEPs, right? They were probably the best jobs of their lives.
I mean, I just want to say I'm not a Europhile here. I am very much aware that the EU is warmongering towards Russia. It's pro-Israel. The EU isn't really something I like. It's the point I'm making is you're better off being part of a united front, which is Europe, than completely isolated on your own. I'm not a fan of the European Union.
But listen, a united front. I mean, like you've got some absolute horror stories coming out of Europe. For instance,
I don't deny that.
Absolute horror stories, economic basket cases. When they forced people to go into the euro, when their economies were not right for it at all. Look at what's happened in Greece, Portugal, Ireland. The EU is not a success story, right?
Portugal's pretty good.
The EU is it's at best a rickety mixed bag, and at worst a failure. So let's not sort of
it's slavishly pro-Israel. It's worryingly warmongering towards Russia.
And let's be honest, right? If we were outside the EU in 2016 and there'd been a referendum on should we join it, there'd have been a really good case for going hell no, right? So let's not make it out.
I just think the UK is better off in than out, because at least when you're in it, you could affect some of the policy. Whereas out, I mean, I don't see how. I mean, there were some benefits of being in it. There are literally no benefits of being out of it.
No, there are. Well, there are. I think the problem is that the EU is just one of many faces of a far bigger problem. There's something I've heard people call the blob. Right? It's a whole political class of people who they've spent all that time around other political people in an echo chamber. They're not in touch with anything, anything to do with ordinary people at all, and they include people in this country. There are people, the whole political class of this country. Look, the EU and was it Starmer said recently that he preferred Davos to Westminster? Right?
It was, yeah. He said that before he was elected, worryingly.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's the whole blob thing. It's like the World Economic Forum, the WF, the WHO. It's all part of that blob. That think a particular way, and the EU is part of that. Now, okay, let's get out the EU, but I want the blob gone. Yeah, I want us to basically sort of almost like scorch the earth and start again in terms of the politics, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know how you. I don't know how you. Yeah. I mean, how do I put this? Putting the Tories in charge of Brexit was like putting a fox in charge of a hen house. It's fucking mad. Fucking madness. I didn't even vote in that referendum, mate. Right? Because
I did.
Right. I was like, because I would only have ever voted one side. It would be a different side to you. But I was like, this is fucking madness. You're going to put the Tories in charge of this. They're the establishment, right? They're the blob. Do you get what I mean? You know, these are people who have been put in charge of enacting a policy that they hate on a kind of institutional level, right?
Yeah.
So it was never going to be it was never going to be done in a way that was made a success by making sense, because they were fundamentally hostile to it. What we needed to do, mate, was not get a referendum at all. People like on my side of it. We needed to what we needed to do actually when we had the chance, you know, during the god awful William Hague IDS years, right?
4 hours to save the pound.
Yeah, well, we needed to get rid of the Tory party then. We needed to kill it. I mean, this is one of the things
I think before we did the Brexit thing, the Tory party should have got rid of the Tory party, killed it, like you said, and then had the debate on Europe without the Tories. Because
but you need a sane centre-right Brexit supporting party in there.
I'm not saying don't have it. I mean, I live in a country in Spain where there is a centre-right. It's just not the Tories, and it's completely different. There is a consensus on things in Spain,
right? And
in
it's
UK,
not
there's no consensus. Everything's fair game, and it's complete fucking chaos.
Right, but. You know, but the thing is, you're right. You needed something that would actually say, yes, we're prepared to leave the European Union. Actually, we think it would be a rather good idea. You know, but wasn't the Tories? You know, it was full of.
I mean, there was a lot of people, I think, that wanted to leave the EU.
Well, it was the case for a long time, fella. I mean, like back in the early 2000s, I remember it was around 40%. It was around 40% then.
Was it Tony Benn was Eurosceptic?
Well, the Labour Party. Well, I'm going to have to go soon. Well, the Labour Party itself was Eurosceptic until about 1988. Now, do you know what happened?
Was it?
1988 is quite a big year.
Delors said to Kinnock, "Look, you're not getting Thatcher out of number 10, but you can cause hell for her over here."
Yeah. So what I think it was Delors, wasn't it? And he went and turned up at the TUC. And this was around the same time Maggie was giving her Bruges speech. No. Yeah?
Yeah.
And I think he said something to, well, basically he said to the Labour Party, look, you know all these union powers that Thatcher's taken off you? Well, we've got something coming in soon called the social chapter. And guess what? You'll get them all back. And all of a sudden, the Labour Party's feelings about the European Union just did a 180.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Affection for the European Union came from, right? I mean, you know that I'm a pro free movement guy.
Yeah.
I don't know why we couldn't have left the European Union, but just kept free movement.
We could have. I mean, what we should have done, what I think we should have done, you know, strategically, this is the right thing to do, is joined EFTA and be like Norway or Switzerland, right? And
Norway's the EU, but they still have free movement. And
correct,
it's great.
And they have free trade. They have free
Norway
trade.
doesn't suffer. Like Norway's a great country to live in. It's a great country to be.
And then I think what could have happened in the fullness of time is you almost set EFTA up as an alternative, because I think when that begins to work and you begin to see benefits from that,
yeah,
other countries are going to look at you, and Britain's going to be a bit clever here because you don't want to take EFTA over. But you want to be influential, right? You can start saying some of the other countries in Europe have got their Eurosceptic people. Look, this is a nicer alternative. You know, it's a much looser arrangement, right? And then if you could, right, basically what I would have liked is like the EU pre-Maastricht. You know, where it was a free trade area. I'd have absolutely loved that.
Was there free movement before Maastricht?
I'll find out. I'll find out. I mean, you could go anywhere you wanted. There might be a little bit of paperwork or whatever.
I just think those years. I remember when I was working in those jobs, and it was really enjoyable. Just sort of, you'd be doing some menial task, some menial job, and then you'd be working with a guy from Lithuania, and you'd be having a chat, or about, oh, what's Lithuanian football like? It's like, oh, you like football? Yeah, I love football. Oh, well, it's great. And it was almost like a really good learning experience. It was nice. It was nice.
It was actually Maastricht opened the door to full freedom of movement. So I'll have the EU sort of just after Maastricht.
Okay? Remember years ago,
but before the euro, or anything like that.
Remember years ago, like about 15 years ago, me and my friend, the Blackpool fan, who there was just this guy from Finland sat in a pub on his own, and he's like, oh, can I play pool with you guys? And we're like, yeah, mate, where you from? Oh, I'm from Finland. And then and he ended up getting pissed with us. And it was just really nice. I don't know.
Oh, I'll tell you what, my line's going funny, fella.
Okay, mate.
Yeah, so my line's going. I'll tell you what I'll do though. Just stick around in the green room. We'll have a quick chat, all right, bud?
Yeah. Are you if you put the chat offline, I'll stay in the green room. I'll just stay online.
Yeah, I'll end the stream now, bud. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, cool. I'll just end the stream now.
Okay.
Cheers, mate. Right, thanks everybody. Thanks for watching, and tune in next week for Tim and for Simon. Thanks so much.